Hey everybody, welcome back to Sons of Cinema. My name is Ron, and with me as always is the friendly neighborhood horror freak, Michael Entity. Hey, what's up,
Hey,
my man?
hey, I'm doing pretty well, man. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. You like that catch that I got with your new slogan? I like
I
your
like.
song.
I'm just your friendly. Yeah, man. It's catchy. I like it a
Yeah,
lot. But
yeah.
I think if I'm gonna call myself the friendly neighborhood horror freak, I try my best to stick to horror movies. I do have some exceptions, but it
Right.
would be it would be weird for me to have that intro and then have me review Toy Story 5.
Yeah. Well, today we're not doing Toy Story 5. We are doing Evil Dead Burn, the 2026 horror movie. And I went and saw this Thursday, the very first showing at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When did you see the film?
I actually just saw the film exactly 4 hours ago. I went to the 4:40 PM showing, and, got out, like, about maybe 6:30, I wanna say.
Yeah. I had about maybe 10, 15 people in the theater. It was in like the smallest theater possible. I think maybe there was like 15 rows at max, one of those little tiny ones.
I was the only one in the theater. Unfortunately, the theater I go to is not a very busy theater, so I had the
Yeah.
theater, like, all to myself.
Well, that's great. I love when that happens, man. And I actually ended up switching seats because I always get like a seat by myself and usually in a corner. And sure enough, there's a family of like five people that sat right in front of me. I'm like, really? The whole theater, and you got to sit here? So I ended up moving to the other corner of the theater, and I was by myself, and I was like, cool. Um,
Absolutely.
anyway, we will get into some spoilers here, folks. Again, Evil Dead Burn. Michael, would you please give a synopsis of the film?
Yes, so Evil Dead Burn, we follow a young woman who is grieving over the loss of her husband, who dies in the beginning of the film. Not a spoiler, guys. It's part of the film, but I don't know why I'm saying not a spoiler because this is a spoiler review. So fuck you guys, spoilers all the way. Um, but she's grieving over the death of her husband, and she is going to the family home. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing over there specifically, but they're going over there, and it's an Evil Dead film. So as you can imagine, some pretty fucked up, gnarly shit happens, and it's pretty wild. I'll just put it that way.
So, um, some of my thoughts on this movie. First, I had a question. It starts off kind of like Evil Dead Rise, where it starts off at a lake. Who is that? The same lady from the first movie, that demon that came from the lake, that and with the scene with the fish hooks and the boiling water? Was that the same lady?
I think it might be, and I'm only saying that because I have only seen Evil Dead Rise since I saw it in theaters, have not seen
Right.
it since then, which I feel bad for not seeing it more because I really did enjoy Rise like quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
But I think it definitely is the same person because they wouldn't have that in the same exact setting and then have a cliffhanger like Evil Dead Rise for no reason. So it's gotta be. But after seeing the ending of the ending credits of this movie, which we'll get into later, I think it
Mhm.
is the same person.
Yeah, and I remember I just actually finished watching Evil Dead Rise before we did this because I had some time. So in the beginning of Evil Dead Rise, it starts off at a lake too, where this girl has the demon in her, but they don't explain why, where it came from, like how it happened. So that's still kind of a mystery that maybe they'll hit in the third movie. Because again, I didn't know if it was the same lady or not. It really doesn't allude to that at all. So
Yeah, it
give me
doesn't.
some, yeah, it sure doesn't. Give me some things you liked about the movie. Let's start off there.
So, I really enjoyed the setting of this movie. It's kind of going back to the whole like big like not even really a cabin, but a house in the middle of nowhere. Whereas the last Evil Dead movie took place in an apartment complex. It was almost kind of like The Raid if it was like a zombie possession movie. That's kind of what it felt like. This I really loved the setting of this movie. If there are any Resident Evil fans out there that are watching this video right now, tell me that you guys did not get Resident Evil 7 vibes from this. Ron, I don't know, are you familiar with Resident Evil? Like, have you played the games before, or even some of the newer ones?
No, I haven't. I mean, I'm only familiar with it through the movies that they've made.
Okay. Well, so I need to. I'll mention this real quick without getting too much into it. But in Resident Evil 7, you play as a character that's looking for his wife. She goes missing, and he ends up going into like the middle of nowhere in like this creepy old giant wooden house in like a swamp area. And when he gets there, he encounters this family that's like infected by some sort of like supernatural force, which is causing them to act psychotic. Like it's almost kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family if they were like being possessed. And when I was watching this movie, I even messaged my good buddy Mike. We're both Resident Evil fanatics, and we even talked about Resident Evil 9 on my channel not too long ago. And I said, dude, this is giving me some like Resident Evil 7 vibes. If you get a chance, Ron, look up some clips from the game specifically. Just
Okay.
go on YouTube and just look up
Okay.
Resident Evil 7 dinner scene. And if you watch that, you'll probably go, yeah, this definitely does feel like it. So being a Resident Evil fan, I really liked the setting with that. I do think this movie does have some of my favorite sequences, which is quite a bit to say because I really loved Evil, because I really did love Rise. I thought that was awesome. But there's a lot of sequences in this movie that not only did I love, but really blew me away. And I love that this movie continues to do exactly what made the original Evil Dead so ambiguous and iconic, where Sam Raimi does a lot of really insane camera tricks, and like a lot of camera movements that just almost seemed impossible for a director like him to be able to do with such a small budget. Like you get a lot of those shots where the camera's kind of moving around like this, kind of like in the first Evil Dead.
Right.
The scene specifically where the mom is like has like a bag wrapped around the main female actress in the film, and they're like
Right.
going upside down on the wall, and the way the camera is like following them as they go
Yes.
into a different wall. I thought that was so damn cool. I do not know how the fuck they pulled that off, but yeah, love the aesthetic, love the setting of the movie, love all the sequences. The music is great too. I don't know how you felt about the music, but I loved the music. It was awesome in this movie.
So I love the music. And like Michael was saying, this movie takes place in this giant older house, which kind of gave me Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. This home,
Or Amityville kind of thing.
yes, yes, and some other things I liked, like you said, I love the way it was shot. So some of these sequences were just awesome. It's beautifully shot too. It's
Oh yeah.
shot in the snow with the snow falling, and I like the actors in this movie. Like I don't think there was anyone I would say like was a weak link here. Would you?
No, I do like I think the actors all do a good job. Um, but there are some problems I kind of had with the characters, which we'll get into a little bit when we get into some of the things we
Right.
were kind of mixed on.
Right.
But no, I think the actors all did a really good job. You can definitely tell a lot of these actors did a lot of their own stunts. Not entirely, but I love the one take sequence that was shown in the teaser trailer where it shows the main girl, Alice, I believe that was her name, right?
Uh-huh.
I
Yes.
love the scene where like she's like crawling and there's like a bunch of shit happening in the background and she's like crawling, trying to
Yeah.
get out. I thought that was an awesome sequence. And also I love the sequence where the dishwasher is open and then poor little fella has to fall on his back and it's just God,
Well,
like telling you right now, I don't do my dishes that way. When I put knives and forks, I put it upside down, but they only did that so they could have a really cool gory effect.
Well, I put in there. I put in my notes that they had a little Stitches the Clown action there with that
Yeah.
with the dish scene, and I love that this movie, like they turned every single sharp object in this movie into a, oh my god, what's going to happen with this thing? And I love eye trauma in movies, and it just felt like
Oh.
every single thing, every sharp object in this movie was going to be used for something, and they kind of played on that a little bit. And yeah, so I had Stitches the Clown scene with that.
We're big Stitches fans. Like as you guys
Yes,
know, when I made Ron watch that film, been a fan
I
ever
loved it.
since.
Yeah, I love Stitches, man. The sequel for Stitches. We got to put it out there.
Make it
Um,
happen.
I love that this movie starts off right away. Like the
It's
fishing
very
scene.
instant.
Let's talk about that first scene. I mean, we can get into the scenes right now. The
Yeah,
first
let's
scene is
do it.
awesome with the fish hooks in this guy's face, and
That was awesome. It felt like Hellraiser.
yes, that was it. Just and that's something I don't know if you've ever been fishing, but that's something that is always in the back of my mind is where's that hook at? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I do not want that hook near my face.
Either
And
that or is something in the water strong enough to actually pull me in?
yeah, that's yeah, that's ridiculous. That scene, and then it goes into we just get a little bit of slow exposition establishing the characters. So it's basically these two brothers. One of them owns a nightclub, and he's married to this French woman. And we find out as the story goes along that he's an abuser, and we find out actually how bad it is towards the end of the movie, which
Mhm.
it actually this plays a big part of the film, this abuse. And so we have everyone actually after the funeral of this guy who the brother he goes off and he's killed on the road, right, with that demon lady that came from the lake. She
Yeah,
killed him.
it
Yeah.
definitely reminded me, Ron. I don't know if you're a fan of this movie. I am. It reminded me of the scene in Gothica where Halle Berry swerves and she sees the girl in the road.
Yes. Yeah. It also had a little feeling of Passenger to it, that we saw earlier this year.
Thankfully, this movie is way better than Passenger.
Definitely, definitely. So then the rest of the movie, they're in this home spending time together after this funeral, and the father think is the first one who's infected. Then it goes bananas as soon as the scene in the car when he's fighting with his son and trying to stop the girl from driving. What did you
That
think
was
of that
wild.
scene, man?
That was a
Right.
wild scene. That reminded me of the sequence in one of my favorite action horror South Korean films. If you ever seen it, Ron, it's called I Saw the Devil.
I love that movie. Love it.
That sequence reminded me of the scene where the taxi driver picks up the serial killer in that movie,
Yeah.
and there's that big giant like 360 camera thing where like they're
Mhm.
stabbing each other as that.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that where like so much chaos is going on in a car.
Yeah.
Or if you want to get it to a lighter moment, it could be almost kind of similar to the sequence in Deadpool and Wolverine where they're just attacking each other inside the minivan.
The Honda Odyssey fucks hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
um, and then it caps off. That scene is awesome, and it caps off with a headrest through this lady's head and face. And then when she comes
That
to the
was
house,
gnarly.
yes, she comes to the house with this headrest still in her face. And she just pulls it out.
She slowly pulls it out. She's just
Yep.
like that. It was gnarly.
Like Michael was saying, like there are some things that I've never seen before. There are some original kills in this. Some of my favorite sequences, I think, of any of the Evil Dead movies are in this.
Oh yeah.
So as we're pressing on, some other scenes that I really dug were what did you think? Why I'm looking it up here. Any in particular scene? I like the dishes scene. That was the Stitches scene, and the dad. Yeah, the dad when he was beating that ass in the car or excuse me, in the house. When they have that scene when he's beating his son in the background while she's trying to escape. Remember that scene? That scene was amazing, dude. He's just beating the crap out of his son.
That was a good scene. I love the sequence, even though it's not really like a epic sequence. It's a fun but almost kind of comedic in a like a darkly comedic one where Alice is trying to stab the brother, and because she's trying to figure out which dagger is the one that'll kill them, so she's like stabbing him with like all the knives she can find until one eventually kills him. And I honestly I thought that was kind of darkly funny. I really like that sequence. But I think my favorite sequence is the one that takes place in the bathroom between the mom and Alice. I thought that was an awesome sequence.
The mom and Alice. What happened in that scene?
That
Remind
that
me.
was that was the one where she tied her to like the toilet, or handcuffed her to like the toilet or something like that. She
Oh,
escapes, and then like she's like wrapping her head like around
yeah.
plastic, and like she's like trying to bring her up the wall with her upside down.
Yes, that was awesome. Again, I don't know why they continue to put these dumb scenes in horror movies with plastic over people's faces. Just break the plastic. Nobody ever breaks the plastic. It's like in werewolf movies when glass is suddenly like a werewolf's kryptonite. They can't break through glass. Like, what? It just drives me nuts. And uh, uh, another thing I wanted to get into, since you mentioned the daggers, did they add this dagger to the lore? Is this new now? Because I don't remember in Evil Dead Rise there was no mention of a dagger in that movie. So is this new?
I don't know, because I think in Evil Dead Rise they added the new lore where
Mhm.
they mentioned that there are three Necronomicon books.
Another
So I
question
have
about that. Go
okay, go
ahead.
ahead. I
I
I, I
was
have a
just
feel
wondering. Go ahead.
I have a feeling like the first Necronomicon book, of course, was in the cabin from the first and second
Uh-huh.
one. The other Necronomicon book was found in the apartment complex area of the parking garage where Rise
Mhm.
happened, and then the other one was hidden by the grandfather in this house.
Mhm.
So I think I think there's a different lore to maybe each story, like each Necronomicon, which this movie doesn't really go into full detail. I have a this you know what this movie felt like, without comparing it too much because they're completely different movies. Whereas Halloween 2018 was them kind of revitalizing everything and trying to explain new things.
Mhm.
And then when Halloween Kills came out, they were just like, hey, fuck the lore for right now. Let's just give you the gory stuff. Evil Dead Rise had the lore and all that stuff while giving us the gore. But then this movie is just like, we'll have a little bit of lore, but that's not the important part. We're just going to give you carnage. So this movie definitely felt like the Halloween Kills of the franchise.
I love Halloween Kills of the
I do too.
franchise.
I don't know why
So
people hate Halloween Kills. People actually hate Halloween Kills more than they hate Halloween Ends. What the fuck is wrong with them, Ron?
no, that's I love brutal Michael Myers, but that's for a whole another discussion.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, so we've got the dagger that they present in this film now, and this dagger can kill the demons, and it basically just falls in line with the rest of Evil Dead movies. They're getting killed by different members of the family who are getting infected. Now, let's get into what what did things that you didn't like about this movie. Were
Okay.
there anything?
Um there was nothing about this movie that I hated, like that frustrated me. No
Right.
hard negatives with the movie, but unfortunately I did not give a fuck about any of the characters in this movie, even the main actress. I thought they all did great. I thought all of them really sold their part, but I did
Uh-huh.
not care about any of them whatsoever. I mean, I you understand Alice is one of those characters where by the end of the film you understand why she was the way she was. Her boyfriend or
Right.
her husband was abusive, so you get it, but there's a difference between understanding someone's emotions than actually feeling their emotions. Whereas in Evil Dead Rise, even though there's not a shit ton of character development in there, in Evil Dead Rise, we actually got to know that family for the small amount of time we had up until shit started to hit the fan. We got a chance to get introduced to the main girl in that film,
Yeah.
and then we got introduced to what's Alyssa Sutherland. That's her name. I think that was her
Um,
name, right?
playing who?
Um, I just call her mommy. Mommy's with the maggots now.
Oh, in Evil Dead Rise.
Ye-
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
uh,
I
Ellie.
yeah.
Ellie. That was
I
her
love,
name.
yeah, and I love her as an actress. She's the best part of Rise for me. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, but for me, we actually got to know their characters a little
Mhm.
bit for like at least 20 to 25 minutes before shit hit the fan. But in this movie, we don't really get to spend a lot of time with them as characters. And when we do, it's during a freaking strobe light thing, which is very distracting.
Mm.
They're all very annoying. And like I said, I get it. Alice is a mess because of what her husband did to her. But at the end of the day, I just couldn't really find myself like rooting for her. Like, yes, she's the hero, and I'm so excited. Even the family were just they were just weird even before shit hit the fan. Like the mom was just the way like she would like have it almost felt like the dinner sequence in Eraserhead where fucking Jack Nance is like eating chicken with them at the dinner table and the whole
Yeah,
family is just acting weird, but there's a reason for that because it's a fucking David Lynch movie.
right.
So not really much we can expect from that. But even the mom, like the way she like talks, it just seems very off. Even when certain things would happen, she never reacted in a way you would expect her to react. Like when she sees her husband multiple times shooting himself in the cheek, shooting himself in the head, she's just standing there. She goes back inside. Maybe 20, 30 minutes later, she sees her husband outside and he like goes for a kiss and they start making out. And it's
Yes.
just like, I don't understand. Like, it's not like this mom is under the spell yet. Like, what is going on with her? Um, and then there was the grandma who has dementia, which a lot of her scenes were kind of played for comedic relief. I didn't really laugh with a lot of her scenes. I don't know if they were actually trying to make her the comedic relief, which if they were, then I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. The family in general, they were just so weird. And the other guy in the film, I can't remember his name, but he was the brother of the abusive husband who's like supposedly like an author, and he buys him like $1,000 pen, which I
Right.
knew for
Yeah,
a fact that pen was going to come back into play eventually.
of
He
course.
is like when his girlfriend is getting like beat up and she's like getting stabbed and cut, he's not doing anything. And I'm just like, dude, I
Yeah.
fucking hate you. I get it. It's your dad. Your dad's possessed. But look, like, what are you doing? Like, your girlfriend needs help, and you're just like,
I know.
and then like literally right when like he gets an opportunity where he can help his girlfriend, he climbs through the fucking sunroof, not to help her, but just to watch her die. And I'm like, I don't have any sympathy for you.
Yeah, but every time he tried, like he knew his limits, bro. Every time he tried, he got his ass kicked by somebody in that movie.
He
Like
He did no,
he
no,
took a lot of
absolutely,
punishment.
absolutely, he did. But he could have at least gone out if he was going through the sunroof. He could at least open the door for her and try to get her out. But he didn't even try. That's why the family was just weird. I think the
Yeah.
only character you can. I also find it very weird on where they were having the funeral, and the
Uh-huh.
fact that the brother's supposed to be like this rich, successful guy, but nobody else is at the funeral. And I'm like, there's no way that's a budget thing because this is an Evil Dead film. There's definitely a budget. And I just found that weird. Also, what was up with that scene where the freaking coroner is still wearing his suit while like putting the body into ashes and he's like listening to rap music and stuff and like it's just like what am I watching?
I don't know. To piggyback on what you were saying, the family. Well, I'll start with the characters. I agree with you about the characters, but I haven't given a fuck about an Evil Dead character since Ash, and I did like the characters in Ash versus the Evil Dead, the show,
Yeah.
like that, because we got a whole couple seasons to get to know these people, but I haven't given a fuck about any of the characters in any of these movies. But I liked these characters more than I liked the characters in Rise, and I'll get into that in
Really?
a second. Yes, and I know that the family was weird, but to me, it kind of represented the the passing down of abuse, because I felt like the father had just abused the mother so much that she had just become this shell of a person. So I think that was kind of what they were trying to say with this weird fucking family, that the father, and I think that's why she kissed him when he was all demoned up and
That
fucking shot half his head
that
off.
could yeah, that could be. I just wish they were a little bit more clear without going too above and beyond with exposition, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I mean, I get what you're saying about the characters, but this movie wasn't about character buildup. This movie was about balls to the wall action, and
And it
frankly,
does it very well.
it does it quite well. And compared to the first movie, yeah, well, I'll give my opinion on that in a minute, but Was there anything else that you didn't like about the film? Because there is something I want to get into, but you go ahead.
No, I don't. I wouldn't really say there's anything I hated about the film. There were just certain character decisions that I was also just kind of confused by. Like, I also found it weird that like they know for a fact like that these demons are trying to get into their house, but yet they leave their grandma who has dementia and is
Uh-huh.
very like vulnerable. They leave her completely unattended. I found that
Right.
I found that very odd, especially because they're obsessed with trying to keep her safe. But just that one moment, they're
Yeah.
like, she's fine. She's fine.
I do love that they utilize the Gremlins elevator staircase thing that goes up the
That
staircase.
that was that was really cool. That was really funny.
Um,
Yeah,
you
I
got
don't know.
anything else?
No, I other than that, I just feel like there were some character decisions that I just felt were a little bit odd, and I understand not everybody's always going to make a smart
Right.
decision. But Ron, let me ask you this:
Sure.
if you were at home, let's say big shout out to Chelsea, if you were at home and Chelsea knocked on your door and she had like a thing through her thing and she's like and she looks like she's about to kill you, are you going to open the door? Regardless if it's family, regardless if it's family.
No, I put that on my notes. Is when did everyone become so gullible? I asked my old lady about that too. I'm like, if I came in looking like in my head, blown off, and I'm dripping blood and snot, are you gonna kill me or are you gonna let me in the door? She's like, no, I'll kill you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's different. That's different compared to coming in like, babe, I cut my arm. Can you help me put a bandage on? Rather than just, hey, my fucking head is about to fall off. Let me in.
yes. Um, okay. I'm going to get into. I have to bring it up. I liked this entire movie for the most part until the end. What was up with the Vecna fucking T2 shit at the end,
Oh
dude?
my god. I mean, like, I didn't hate it. I just felt like, dude, what is this? This feels like a 90s sci-fi action film. I mean, I commend them for doing something different rather than just having the movie end with everybody dying. Because when you're in an
Yeah,
Evil Dead movie, you're fucked. You're not gonna
yeah,
make it out. So, but when the way it was shot, I'm like, dude, this feels like I'm watching Stranger Things, or like you said, or the ending
yeah.
to fucking
Vecna, yeah.
Terminator. The ending to Terminator 2. I'm like, bro, is this supposed to be like Sarah Connor and this is the T-1000, but he just looks like fucking Groot from the
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
It also looked like it reminded me of the Mummy, Arnold Vosloo's character of the Mummy. Like it looked
It
like, but the
it was like a
CGI
it was a
that
combination.
great either.
It felt like a combination between the Mummy, Vecna, and Groot.
Yes, and it didn't look that great. The CGI. What did you
No,
think of the CGI
no.
on it?
I would say for the most part, the visual effects were done well because
Yeah.
since there's a lot of practical effects in the movie, some of
Mhm.
the VFX are easily forgivable because they mostly were going with practical effects. But
Uh-huh.
when that moment happened, since it was such a big sequence throughout the film, the CGI was very noticeable and it did not look really that great.
Right. That the CGI was great. All the effects were great throughout the movie, except for this Vecna part, which is the whole third act of the film. And
Yeah.
frankly, yeah, this was an hour and 51 minutes. Frankly, they could have stopped it right at the end of what happened at the house, and then when she kills the dog, they could have ended it right there. But they bring this scene to the final scene to what was that place that they were at? Was some kind of factory, or what did you think? What was that?
I have no idea where the hell they were at. Beats me.
I don't either. Anyway, it's just so this thing looks like Vecna, and she's fighting this thing, and I just the ending, dude. Like, I'm gonna tell you now, I liked this movie more than I liked Rise, except for the third act. If I could have had a third act like Rise had, I would be very happy with this movie. But also, it the reason why I like this one more is because Evil Dead Rise to me is like a slow atmospheric building like movie. It's slower. This movie isn't trying to build atmosphere. It's trying to just show you some of the baddest kills that these demons can do. And I like that. It reminds me of back in the day with the original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Like just balls to the wall, like crazy
Yeah, I
killed
mean,
it.
whereas Evil Dead Rise was like the raid, this one is
Mhm.
like the Furious, nonstop action,
Did what
and we and
do
we and we
you?
loved the Furious.
Yeah, yeah, we love the Furious. Did you like this movie more than Rise?
Half and half. There's a lot of things I think Rise did much better, especially with the fact that like and going back, man, I agree with you. Like as far as like with characters, I feel like in horror movies or just movies in general, not every character has to have like a deep backstory for you to like and like a huge exposition scene or anything like that.
Mhm.
But I feel like there still has to be somewhat enough for you to care about them in a way,
Right.
and I feel like with Rise, the tension felt more dangerous and more fulfilling because I found myself actually enjoying these characters or like
Uh-huh.
just at least caring about them. Whereas in this
Yeah.
movie, the characters are not unlikable, they're not horrible people, but I didn't really care for them. For me, instead of just feeling suspenseful, like, oh, I hope, like, oh my God, I hope nothing bad happens to them, it was more of just me enjoying the carnage. Whereas in Evil Dead Rise, I can enjoy the carnage while also feeling scared for the characters.
I get you. I'm just more faster paced, kind of like just give me the kills, get me in and out. Anyway, what did you think of? So, folks, there are two post credit scenes, so stick around for those. There's one at the very end of the credits. What did you think of the post credit scenes, man?
I think the first post credit scene was pretty funny. I like that. The last end credit scene actually got me really excited for what the future holds because we have a cameo from spoilers, Alyssa Sutherland back as Ellie. Mommy's back with the maggots. She doesn't say that. I really wish she would have though. That do you know what's crazy, bro? That line, "Mommy's with the maggots" now has become like iconic in the Evil Dead franchise. Like when people think of Evil Dead, they think of groovy or what does fucking Ash say when he before he shoots the demon with the shotgun?
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah, but like,
He says a lot. He says one of my favorite things that Ash always says is, "There's two things I know: Jack and shit." And Jack just left town. Like he's got the best fucking
he
yeah.
does,
He's got
he
the
does, he
best
does,
line.
he does have the best one-liners. But mom,
Boomstick.
yeah, but fucking yeah, but no, I did like Alyssa Sutherland's cameo. In the,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It makes sense why she's back. So it's not a Linda Blair cameo, an Exorcist believer. I can't believe I said that without puking. But no, this I'm very excited. Apparently, they're already shooting Evil Dead Wrath right now, so I am beyond excited to see where this franchise goes. And going back to it, even though I would say this is definitely the weakest in the franchise, but from a milestone compared to what we've gotten, that's not saying a lot. That's like saying what's an example I can give? That's like saying um the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, is the weakest in the franchise, but Two Towers is still a phenomenal movie. It's just the weakest because I prefer the other ones over that one. I really enjoyed Evil Dead Burn. If I was still giving letter grades, I would give this an A. Not an A minus or an A plus. I would give it an A. But
So
I do prefer Evil Dead Rise just a little bit more.
I again, I don't think this is the weakest one in the franchise. This one completely rewatchable. Did you think this was the best horror film of the year so far?
It's up there. Obsession is still number one for me, unfortunately. I know that's very cliche to say because people are going crazy over Obsession. Even non-horror fans have came up to me saying how much they loved it. Like, dude, I loved Obsession, and I gotta give a big shout out to my good friend Zach Milne from Zach Milne Talks Movies. Big shout out to the big guy over there. He is more into like action and like comedies and sci-fi type stuff. He watches horror films occasionally, but it's not his go-to kind of thing. And he loved Obsession. Like he loved it. And I'm like, really? Because I did not think you would enjoy it. Because when it comes to horror movies, he likes Scream, he likes Chucky, but he does not want to watch the Terrifier movies. He says that's just too much for him. So the fact that he was able to get through Obsession, I was like, if you can get through Obsession, I think you can get through Terrifier.
Well, I don't know if we can get through this Burn because this thing is the gore in this is like this.
Could it get through a
made,
Serbian film?
well, yes, but you made the perfect analogy, dude. You said Halloween Kills. This is the Halloween Kills of this franchise so far, of these 3 films, because
it cuts the bullshit and it gives the carnage.
Yes, it gives you the best of Evil Dead demons, Michael Myers,
the Deadites.
Yes, and it even though sometimes the story's a little weak, but you get some of the best stuff that you'll ever see in this film, and that's why this film is probably my favorite of the year so far, just because of the kills, man. And again,
it's entertaining as hell.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong, Obsession is great, and this movie probably won't hit those Obsession numbers. It probably won't even hit the Backrooms numbers that have come out. But
I think it'll still make its money back, because Evil Dead is still a very popular film franchise. I think it'll still make its money back, but I don't think it's going to blow everybody away, because even though Evil Dead Rise made I'm gonna take a look at what Evil Dead Rise did real quick while we're talking. Let's see.
Are you talking about the box office?
Yeah, I'm looking at Evil Dead Rise. So Evil Dead Rise, the budget was 15 to 19 million is what it says, and and the box office worldwide made 147 million dollars. So it still made its budget back. It actually probably even probably 2 times more than it did. Evil Dead Burn, I wonder how much it cost for Evil Dead Burn. Let's take a look. Evil Dead Burn cost $20 million to make. So far, it's made $2.3 million, but that's just based off of sales that were from yesterday. So what it's making tonight is not going to show until tomorrow. I still think that's pretty decent. I really hope it beats Moana, because apparently it's not going to be looking good for Moana, which is blowing my mind, because I mean, I've never seen Moana. Don't hate me, guys. I've never seen it. I don't really watch a lot of animated films. Only ones that I really want to watch are ones that I've grown up with.
Right.
But Moana's not doing very well so far. It's only made $4 million from a $250 million budget. Toy Story made $30 million in one day. So that poor Disney right now.
Well, that sucks for me, because I have Moana in our fantasy film draft. So,
oh, that's right.
Do you think Evil Dead Burn will hit 100 million?
I think it will. If Evil Dead Rise made that much, I think Evil Dead Burn will definitely. If not, I still think it'll make more than its budget.
I hope so. I think we'll get a lot more explanation in the next movie pertaining to the Lady in the Lake. Let me ask you: Did they ever tell us what happens to these books? I always knew the book as the Necronomicon, and now I'm reading that it's called the Naturom Demonto. Like, what's with the name change?
You know what? I think I might have missaid something when I was talking about the Necronomicon. So that was my fault. So it's the books of the dead. Apparently they say that there's 3 books of the dead. There's the Necronomicon, there's the one that you just said, and then let's look it up. Actually,
the Naturom Demonto was the one, but they also said in Rise that was the same book. So I was just wondering if the 3 books are related, but I always knew them as the Necronomicon, like the Bruce Campbell days.
Right. With the weird looking face.
Right. So I was just curious, like, do they tell us what happens to these books? Like, I don't know what happened to the book in Rise. Like, everyone usually dies, like you said, in these movies, everyone dies, but we don't know what happens to the book. Like,
no, I don't think they really explained it. I think, like, at one point we saw towards the end, we saw Alice like going through the book to look at certain things, but I don't really think they fully showed exactly what they were trying to. I don't think they were fully showing, like, exactly what happened after. So I don't know. Maybe I might have missed something. I don't know if I missed something, but I don't think I did. So I don't know, man. I mean, maybe we both missed something, man, because I was paying attention to the whole movie and I don't really know what happened to the book. I think the book just kind of disappeared.
Well, that's what I mean. And I just finished Rise too, and they don't. It's never referred to in at the end of the movies what happens to the books. Let's say at the end of Rise, okay, so the police show up. I'm sure they're taking the book, right? Because there's nobody else left alive there. In this movie, the girl's left alive, so she could probably take the book. But I was just, well, I guess in the first movie you could say that too. That the final girl in that movie could have just taken the book. Maybe it's just a dumb question, but I was just wondering what happens to these books after these stories.
Maybe they might explain it in the third movie, which I'm hoping maybe will be the one that closes it off
Yeah,
from this like new trilogy that they're
yeah.
doing. So I guess we'll see.
Well, that's pretty much it for my thoughts on the movie. Did you have any final thoughts, man, on this film?
All I will say is that it's not my favorite of the franchise. That will always still go to 2 and Army of Darkness. But this is an endlessly entertaining. You, I like to think that you could even still watch this movie just on its own. That's what I like about the Evil Dead movies is that they're all different. I mean, Army of Darkness. I don't care what anybody says, bro. Army of Darkness is a straight up comedy. It's not even a horror comedy. That is a full blown
Love
comedy.
it. Yeah,
But no,
there
this movie is endlessly entertaining, and it's just a fucking blast. That's all I'll say.
it is. It is. Before we take off, I just wanted to say that I started watching. I was trying to watch The Mummy. Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
And it feels actually almost like more like an Evil Dead movie than anything. But
yeah,
boy,
I've been hearing a lot of people said that. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I kind of beat myself in that because I did want to see it, but a lot of people have been saying that it feels more like an Exorcist or an Evil Dead movie because apparently, from what I remember hearing, I don't know if all of this is 100% true, but apparently Lee Cronin was just set on making just an original horror film, like a possession
Yeah.
type film, and they actually forced him to add mummy lore at the last minute and make it a mummy movie when it originally was not supposed to be a mummy film.
It doesn't feel like a mummy film at all. So I guess we'll have to wait for the Brendan Fraser movies to come
Coming
back
out
and
next
act.
year.
Yes, yes. I'd like to just say one last thing about horror movies this year, man. We've gotten some fucking bangers this year. Like, it's been a really good year for horror.
A good year for horror, a good year for horror, and overall just a good year, a good recent year for YouTubers branching into filmmaking with Chris Stuckman doing Shelby Oaks, Curry Barker doing Obsession, Kane Parsons doing Backrooms, Markiplier doing Iron Lung. I mean,
Michael
good for
Entity
them.
doing Barrett. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
got you.
exactly, man. And Michael Entity is actually working on a new horror film coming out sometime fall of next year. We're going into production in December, and Ron will be a part of that. Don't know about his acting goes, but he's a part of the making of the film, guys. So
Oh,
there you go.
oh, man. I can't wait.
I need your
I-
help filming. I need your help filming porn scenes
Oh, of course, of course. Any
with
any
guys.
scene you need a micro penis in, I'm good, bro. I'm right
Gigi
there.
Allen. Okay.
I'm Gigi Allen style, baby.
Heck yeah, man.
So I do want to say that our next video, my next video, will be on a review of Barrett. We just finished the world premiere of Barrett, which was a huge success,
I
and
cannot
will be
believe that was
doing
2 weeks ago.
Yes, and I'll be doing a spoiler review that'll be coming up this weekend. But I wanted to squeeze this, and I'm sure there's going to be a million reviews on this movie, so we'll probably get swallowed up anyway. But for those of you watching, we appreciate it. And for Sons of Cinema, I'm Ron. That's Michael Entity. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.